Gluten intolerance, also known as celiac disease, is a condition that affects millions of people around the world. It is an autoimmune disorder that occurs when an individual's body cannot tolerate gluten, a protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. When gluten is ingested, it can trigger an immune response that damages the lining of the small intestine, leading to a range of symptoms. If left untreated, gluten intolerance can cause serious health complications, including malnutrition, osteoporosis, and an increased risk of certain types of cancer. Therefore, it is important to be aware of the warning signs of gluten intolerance and seek medical advice if you suspect you may have the condition. The symptoms of gluten intolerance can vary from person to person, and some individuals may not experience any symptoms at all. However, there are several common warning signs that people with gluten intolerance may experience. In this video, we will discuss the 8 warning signs of gluten intolerance in detail, as well as the potential health complications that can arise if the condition is left untreated. We will also provide advice on how to manage gluten intolerance and maintain a healthy diet. Let's see the warning signs of gluten intolerance now. Number 1. Skin problems. One of the less known signs of gluten intolerance is skin problems. Dermatitis herpetiformis, ADHD, a chronic skin condition that causes itchy, blistering rashes, is a form of gluten intolerance. The prevalence of dermatitis herpetiformis is higher among men than women with gluten intolerance. A rash associated with this DH usually appears on the elbows, knees, buttocks, and scalp. This condition is characterized by small, red bumps that can blister and are extremely itchy. An individual's daily life can be disrupted by the rash, which can occur over a period of months or years. Another skin problem that is associated with gluten intolerance is eczema. Inflammation, dryness, and itching are all symptoms of eczema, which is a chronic skin condition. Researchers have found a link between gluten intolerance and eczema, despite the fact that the exact cause of eczema remains unknown. Eczema sufferers may find that following a gluten-free diet improves their symptoms. Number 2. Neurological issues. The presence of neurological issues is another sign of gluten intolerance. In some cases, gluten intolerance damages the nervous system, resulting in neurological symptoms. Peripheral neuropathy is a common neurological symptom of gluten intolerance. Symptoms of peripheral neuropathy include tingling, numbness, and pain in the hands and feet. A lack of coordination and muscle weakness can also result from it. There are many causes of peripheral neuropathy, but gluten intolerance has been found to be more common. Ataxia is another neurological symptom of gluten intolerance. The condition of ataxia affects coordination and balance, and can cause difficulties with speech, walking, and fine motor skills. It occurs when the cerebellum, a part of the brain that controls movement and coordination, is damaged. In spite of its rarity, ataxia can have a significant impact on a person's quality of life. Despite not fully understanding the link between gluten intolerance and these neurological issues, research suggests there may be one. Number 3. Digestive issues. It is perhaps the most common symptom of gluten intolerance that digestive issues occur. These can include abdominal pain, bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, and nausea. It may take hours or even days for these symptoms to appear after consuming gluten-containing foods. Gluten can damage the small intestine lining, which is why these digestive issues occur. Those with gluten intolerance experience an immune reaction when gluten enters their small intestines. The villi, which are small finger-like projections that help us absorb nutrients from food, can be inflamed and damaged as a result. A damaged villi prevents the body from absorbing nutrients properly, resulting in digestive problems. Digestion issues can also be symptoms of other conditions, such as irritable bowel syndrome. In order to determine the cause of the symptoms, it is essential to consult a healthcare professional. Number 4. Headaches/migraines. Headaches and migraines are a common symptom of gluten intolerance, especially for those who suffer from migraine headaches. In some individuals, gluten can trigger an immune response, leading to inflammation and constriction of blood vessels in the brain. Those with gluten intolerance are more likely to suffer from headaches and migraines than the general population. A study found that 56% of people with gluten intolerance reported headaches or migraines. There are a number of factors that can contribute to headaches and migraines, including stress, sleep deprivation, and dehydration. A healthcare professional should be consulted to determine the cause of the symptoms. Number 5. Depression/anxiety. Gluten intolerance can also cause depression and anxiety. It has been found that gluten-intolerant individuals are more likely to suffer from depression and anxiety than the general population. There's no clear explanation for this, but it may have something to do with inflammation that gluten intolerance causes. The effects of inflammation on the brain can lead to behavioral and mood changes. It is important to note that depression and anxiety can also be caused by a variety of factors, such as genetics, life events, and chemical imbalances in the brain. Number 6. Anemia. People with anemia have low red blood cell counts or hemoglobin levels. A person with this condition may experience fatigue, weakness, and shortness of breath as a result. Several studies have linked gluten intolerance to anemia, especially iron deficiency. Gluten-intolerant people are more likely to suffer from anemia than the general population. This is because gluten can cause damage to the lining of the small intestine, which can lead to malabsorption of nutrients, including iron. Additionally, gluten intolerance can cause inflammation, contributing to anemia as well. Number 7. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. ADHD is a neurodevelopmental disorder that causes inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Although the causes of ADHD are not fully understood, gluten intolerance may be a contributing factor in some cases. Gluten intolerance is more common in children with ADHD compared to children without the disorder, according to studies. The exact mechanism behind the link between gluten intolerance and ADHD is unknown, but it may be related to the immune system. Symptoms of ADHD may appear as a result of gluten intolerance, including inflammation of the brain. Furthermore, gluten intolerance can interfere with the absorption of omega-3 fatty acids, which are crucial for brain health. The gluten-free diet may be recommended to manage ADHD symptoms related to gluten intolerance. However, not all cases of ADHD are caused by gluten intolerance, and many people may not benefit from a gluten-free diet. Aside from medication, therapy, and lifestyle changes, there are other treatment options for ADHD. Number 8. Fatigue and joint pain. Fatigue and joint pain are also signs of gluten intolerance. Gluten can trigger an immune response in some individuals that causes inflammation throughout the body. As a result of this inflammation, fatigue and joint pain can occur. It is a common symptom of many autoimmune disorders, including gluten intolerance, to feel fatigued, even after a good night's sleep. It can make people feel tired and lethargic. Individuals suffering from fatigue may have difficulty performing daily activities and maintaining social relationships, which can negatively impact their quality of life. Gluten intolerance can also cause joint pain. Stiffness and swelling may accompany this pain in joints throughout the body, as the body's immune system attacks the joints in response to gluten. Gluten intolerance can cause joint pain. Several conditions can lead to fatigue and joint pain. To determine the cause of the symptoms, you should speak with a healthcare professional. Now, let's see how to manage gluten intolerance and maintain a healthy diet. Managing gluten intolerance can be challenging, but it is possible to live a healthy and fulfilling life with the condition. The key to managing gluten intolerance is to maintain a gluten-free diet, which involves avoiding foods that contain gluten. Here are some tips on how to manage gluten intolerance and maintain a healthy diet. Understand which foods contain gluten. Gluten is found in a variety of foods, including wheat, barley, and rye. It can also be found in processed foods, such as bread, pasta, and baked goods. To manage gluten intolerance, it is important to understand which foods contain gluten and to avoid them. Read food labels. When grocery shopping, it is important to read food labels carefully to ensure that products do not contain gluten. Look for foods that are labeled gluten-free or certified gluten-free. Be aware that some foods may contain hidden sources of gluten, such as soy sauce, salad dressings, and soups. Cook meals at home. Cooking meals at home is a great way to ensure that foods are gluten-free. This allows you to control the ingredients and preparation methods used in your meals. Experiment with gluten-free recipes and try new foods to keep your meals interesting and nutritious. Be aware of cross-contamination. Cross-contamination can occur when gluten-free foods come into contact with gluten-containing foods. To prevent cross-contamination, use separate cooking utensils, cutting boards, and pots and pans when preparing gluten-free foods. Be aware of the possibility of cross-contamination when dining out at restaurants. Seek support. Managing gluten intolerance can be challenging, so it is important to seek support from family, friends, and healthcare professionals. Consider joining a support group or speaking with a registered dietitian who specializes in gluten-free diets. As a whole, Gluten intolerance can result in a wide range of symptoms that can have an adverse effect on an individual's quality of life. While many people may be aware of the more commonly known symptoms, such as digestive issues, skin problems, and neurological issues, it is important to be aware of the lesser-known symptoms such as anemia and infertility. If you are experiencing any of the warning signs of gluten intolerance, it is important to speak with a healthcare professional who can diagnose and treat the condition. Once diagnosed, managing gluten intolerance involves following a strict gluten-free diet, which can be challenging but is necessary to alleviate symptoms and prevent long-term health complications. Planning ahead, focusing on nutrient-dense foods, and avoiding processed gluten-free foods can also help maintain a healthy diet. By understanding the warning signs of gluten intolerance and taking the necessary steps to manage the condition, individuals can live a healthy and fulfilling life. It is important to remember that each person's experience with gluten intolerance may be unique, so it is essential to work closely with a healthcare professional to create a personalized management plan.